Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to my presentation for Integrated Management Research Project. My name is Bernice Ironbar with student ID number 210-63676. And my topic is the impact of diversity and inclusion on agile performance in the UK retail industry, a comparative case study of Tesco and Aldi supermarkets in the UK. Come along with me. Diversity is where everyone feels that their voice is heard, and inclusion is about how well the contributions, presence, and perspectives of different groups of people are being valued. Diversity and inclusion are crucial to a company's strategic agenda due to the business case. This is said by Theodora Kapoulos. Then the UK has a legislation like the Equality Act 2010, which protects workers against discrimination and promotes inclusion. Neglecting diversity planning can lead to adverse financial outcomes, which was said by Knight. Then this research assesses the diversity management impact on employee performance in two major UK retail companies, which are Tesco and Aldi Supermarket. Tesco PLC, a British retail firm in groceries and general merchandise, holds the market leader with about 28.4% and with over 4,000 stores in the UK with its headquarters in England. So Aldi is a discount supermarket chain owned by a German family, operates over 10,000 stores across 20 countries. It earned awards like Supermarket of the Year, that was 2012-2013, and the Grocer of the Year 2013. Aldi became the UK's fourth largest supermarket chain, overtaking Morrison's as of September 2022. This was gotten from Statistical 2022A. So now I'll be talking about my research aims. So my research aim is the aim of the study is to explore the role of diversity and inclusion on agile performance in the management of the UK retail industry, a comparative case study of Tesco and Aldi markets in supermarkets in UK. And I have three research objectives. The first is to investigate the effectiveness of diversity and inclusion on team performance in the retail industry. Number two, to identify key factors for effective diversity and inclusion and its contribution to an agile team. Number three, to compare organizational culture, policy, and practice related to diversity and inclusion and its impact in Tesco and Aldi UK. My research questions, which are just two, are: what are the key factors that contribute to effective diversity and inclusion in an agile team? How does diversity and inclusion enhance team performance in the retail industry? So with this, I'll be going to my methodology and I'll be explaining how I got my data, how I used my data, and thank you. Using the Sanders Research Onions, I'll be using the research onions to answer my evidence of good data collection. Here I'll be starting with my methodology and going through the layers one after the other. Here, the philosophy I did was, my philosophy was interpretism. Yes, there are four types of philosophy. We have the pragmatic, we have the positivism, we have the realism, and interpretism. For my research, I'm using interpretism, which views communal understanding subjectively. For this thesis, interpretism will be employed, focusing on qualitative social beliefs rather than quantitative social interactions. Still on the Sanders Research Onions, so there are two types of approach using the Sanders Research Onions, so which is deductive and inductive. But for my thesis, I'm using deductive. For the strategy, there are all sorts of strategies, but I'm using the case study and the survey. Meyer and Wheeler 2017 emphasized that data collection clarifies whether the thesis uses primary or secondary data and either qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. For my own dissertation, I'm using secondary data, which is, I'm using secondary data and it is qualitative method I'm using. So this dissertation relies on secondary sources, which comprises of literature reviews or systematic reviews, and qualitative data was explored. My data collection method was through official websites of UK's Tesco and Aldi supermarket, credible sources like the Google Scholar, and the school online library, searching for journals that are in line with my research topic. So on my use of data, I have 4 key sources, and I used in my annotation that really relates to my objectives and the objectives that were achieved. For my article 1, which is Creek, it's literally achieved all my objectives that I listed as objective 1, 2, 3. Then Adams achieved objective 1 and 3. Folakemi achieved objective 1 and 2. Castle achieved objective 1 and 3. Well, for the relevance to study, it's for the relevance to my research, it says understanding diversity's impact on innovation and organization performance. It provides insight into impact of diversity and cross-cultural management. So it explores diversity's management impact on outcomes within a specific context. And for the data type, which was mostly quantitative, quantitative, and qualitative, which is mostly either case study, literature review, or empirical study, as said in the strategy. So here I have my my data analysis, which I'll be talking about. My thematic analysis, which is analyzing qualitative data to identify patterns and themes in the meaning. So here I have, so there were like 6 stages of me getting my themes. So it was familiarizing the information. So I read through multiple scripts. So primary formulation of codes, that's organizing information systematically and coding to extract key ideas. So here I generating accurate themes, that's developing themes from generated codes, ensuring accuracy to ensure that I get the right data. Here reviewing the prepared themes, that's transforming themes, making them clear, distinct, and relevant to my objectives. Defining the themes, assessing the themes. This was assessing the themes, relevance, connection, and especially with main and sub themes. Then for the themes, most importantly, these themes encompass various aspects of diversity, inclusion, team performance, organizational structure. So the themes that I really used there were diversity, inclusion, team performance, organizational culture, and also inclusion and organizational structure and their effects on overall organizational outcomes. So those were the themes I used in searching for all my data while I was working on them. So these are my research objectives. Again, I'm reinstating it. My first objective is to investigate the effectiveness of diversity and inclusion on team performance in the retail industry. The second is to identify the key factors for effective diversity and inclusion and its contribution to an agile team. The third is to compare organizational culture, policy, and practice related to diversity and inclusion on impact in Tesco and Aldi. So for my objective 1, so the study explores how diversity and inclusion are affecting performance, examining organizations like Tesco and Aldi. In inclusive environments, valuing diverse members enhances innovation and decision making. Effective leadership and a positive culture are key. So the research provides theoretical insights and actionable strategies for business, emphasizing the interconnectedness of diversity, inclusion, and team success. Using the references, I like the positive connection between diversity, inclusion, and agile performance. Folakemi and Caswell specifically discuss the impact of diversity management and inclusion impact on outcomes within the retail industry. Then Adam L. Simeon explore the effect of diversity on organizational performance in various industries, including retail. Identify key factors for the effective diversity and inclusion and its contribution to an agile team. This is my objective too. So this research objective seeks to pinpoint the essential component that leads to successful diversity and inclusion in agile teams. It dives into the aspects like leadership commitment, tailored policies, transparent communication, equal opportunities, and the appreciation of individual viewpoints. Furthermore, it examines how diversity and inclusion bolster team agility, fostering adaptability, and swift decision making. The references Crick and Daniel contributes to comprehending these influential factors. Crick highlights the importance of prioritizing diversity and inclusion for enhanced agile performance. For my objective 3, the objective involves comparing diversity and inclusion approaches at UK supermarket, Tesco, and Aldi, analyzing cultural values, policies, and practices. It explores how these impact diverse and inclusive workplaces, affect factors like employee satisfaction, innovation, and overall performance. The goal is to understand the relationship and identify effective strategies and offer guidance. Looking at the references, they should give precedence to diversity management and inclusion, leading to improved employee satisfaction and performance. I couldn't really get so many resources here, so further research would be conducted because this needs a primary review, primary data, which is not allowed. Looking at all the key sources that was used for the annotation, these are some of the findings from the key sources. So for Crick, which I really used, and Ramesh, said the study emphasizes positive relationship between workforce diversity and innovation outcomes. It identifies factors contributing to organizational diversity competitiveness. Then for number 2, diversity management and inclusion have a favorable influence on employee job satisfaction and job performance, which is by Folakemi. Inclusion contributes to the retail industry's organizational culture and drives positive outcomes. This is by Caswell. Strategies to enhancing workplace diversity planning emphasize inclusiveness and idea sharing. This is by Daniel. Diversity beliefs and leadership expertise influence organizational performance, with age, diversity, and leadership expertise having a significant impact. This is by Jamid. Said in conclusion, this comparative case study of Tesco and Aldi supermarkets in the UK highlights the significance of diversity and inclusion in enhancing agile performance in the retail industry. The findings emphasize the positive impact of diversity on team performance, the key factors contributing to diversity and inclusion, and the role of organizational structure practice in shaping outcomes. Below are attached are the recommendations going forward. So these are the recommendations I made for Tesco and Aldi, since they are my target audience. So the first recommendation is embrace inclusivity. Organizations should prioritize inclusive practices to foster a sense of belonging and commitment among diverse employees. There are so many recommendations that are made, and they can make use of any of them. Have the strategic diversity planning, have the leadership development, have the balanced diversity, cultural alignment. So also employee engagement, corporate image enhancement, diverse leadership, continuous learning and adaptation. Then they should invest in human capital. All this will help them, to grow more and make more profits. So I'll be using the Gibbs reflective model, which is in 4 stages. So here I have the description. The whole research process wasn't fun. It was extremely tiring, but Mr. Mohammed Husman made it worth it. My feelings throughout this research project, my emotions were a blend of certainty at times. I was sometimes confused. Sometimes I was, I knew what I was doing. even sometimes some of the briefs were not even, direct, because we even get it wrong, like assignments 4, we didn't know what was expected and we gave the wrong thing. Then the research, the evaluation, well, I think we're treated unfairly so many times, so they should, maybe sit down and, retake what how the model should be. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Husman. Thank you. And